Wow, are you going to buy the dip in TQQQ? We are getting a nice sell off. And if you are looking to buy this dip, I'll tell you do not buy this dip right now. I'll explain why as soon as we get shifted over into the individual charts. Let's take a look at that right now. Excuse me. Well, taking a look at TQQ just right off the bat, part of the questions we want to ask ourselves is what happens next? Could be a setup, the biggest leverage ETF for the biggest leverage ETF for going into the end of the year. So that's really good. However, we're looking also at could be a significant pullback before we jump in. So forget the headlines. I'm here not to hype TQQ because I love to trade it, but I'm going to just dig in and show you exactly what I'm looking at and where I may be getting into this particular entity. So let's go ahead and jump into that. And before I do, I want to welcome everybody. And I'm Dennis Wilborn, founder of the AutoPilot Trading System and author of Trade Your Way to Freedom. And I've been trading the market for over 30 years, and I have navigated the dot-com bubbles, the COVID crashes, and today I'm going to apply that wisdom and discipline to see if we can dig out a TQQ setup. So you ready to go? If you are, just give me a thumbs up and say, yeah, Dennis, I'm ready to rock and roll. Just say, yes, rock and roll down in the comments, guys. Are you ready? As we're getting ready to jump over into the chart, as you can see the chart, just drop a comment in there. Are you ready to get going? Okay, we're back live doing these Autopilot Trading live, and it's going to be published on both Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time and on Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. It's going to last for not a half hour, 15 minutes. That's what I'm targeting. And so it's going to be basically quick and fast. But what it's designed for is, busy professionals who want a really good snapshot on what the market is doing. I will be covering three different things. I will be covering one, a excellent looking opportunity for a stock or a ETF or a crypto, and then I will be offering a look at something having to do with mindset, technicals, that type of thing, and then close that off with just a highlight of, hey, how am I doing in that 90-day leverage ETF challenge that I'm doing with myself through the end of the year. So let's go ahead and take a look at. So yeah, Tim, I'm aware of that the bit rate is a little bit slow. However, that's partly the deal with YouTube, and I'll be looking to fix that going forward. So hopefully, if it does bug you too much, please come back and watch the recording, because the recording, it gets rid of the bit error rate. So let's take a look at TQQQ. I like to utilize the 3 multi-time frame, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes I'll jump to 4 watching the 1 hour or 2 hour intraday chart. But what are we seeing today? A pretty nasty sell-off. We break down through the 20-day moving average here. And so what it looks like to me is the next stop for potential support on TQQ is down in this area here, and that's the 50-day moving average. Is about the 104 level on TQQQ. I look to my left and I see that, yeah, that is a pretty significant level of support where we could get a bounce. I'm looking at 3 different things when I'm evaluating my charts, folks. I'm looking at my 3-step framework is according to my precision entry point routine that I do. Is I'm looking for support, I'm looking for a reversal candlestick, and I'm looking for a reversal or a change of momentum. right now, if I count these off, as you'll see, we have, yeah, we're approaching support, but it's not there yet. 2, do I have a candlestick reversal pattern? No, I do not, at least not a bullish one. And then my momentum, which I like to use the TSI, scheduled at 883, is pointing down. However, it's approaching a level of support, which is the 0 line right there, where momentum could bounce from there. What about the other charts that we're looking at? I'll start over here on the monthly. As you can see, the monthly, we've had basically just, start of November has been really, really crappy, really bad. And so we begin a lot of sell-off. On the flip side of that, the good news, I guess, is that November tends to be the best, the absolute, best performing month of all the months of the year. So do we get a strong pullback and then jump on that to break it to the upside? We'll see. What about the weekly chart? Tomorrow is Friday. Now, we don't know exactly whether or not we're going to close the way we are right now. However, if we do close, if the price action closes on TQQ on the weekly chart where it's at, this will be a bearish engulfing pattern. And it goes along with the bearish patterns we had over here on the daily chart, with that hanging man that happened right there, then a failed rally attempt, and then swoosh, down to the downside. So my trade on this right now is I put an alert down here around the 50-day moving average, and I wait to see for does that support hold? Does my momentum indicator start to reverse? And do I get a candlestick reversal candle? If none of those 3 happen, then I will basically not be, I'll wait for those to happen to take my next trade in TQQQ. Really quick question. How many of you trade options on TQQQ? Just go to, I recognize there's some lag time here, but how many of you actually trade options on TQQQ? I'm asking that because I was wondering if somebody would be interested on a future live show if I covered how to target shoot doing options on TQQQ. If that's something that you would like to see, just put a note down in the comments saying, yeah, Dennis, I would like to see that. So that's what I'm looking at. Well, I'm basically in a waiting mode on TQQQ. Let's jump over really quick and cover a couple of other things. One of the things that TQQ does for us is it basically, most traders, are waiting, they may try to jump on this trade on TQQ because it is pulling back, and they guess on where they're doing the pullbacks. However, that's not the best way to do it, because that's a good way to get, never, the old adage of never try to catch a falling knife. And so what I look at also is, why would we do that? If we're not following some kind of rules, why would we want to be doing that? And sometimes it has to do with our consistency. Are we consistently following a strong set of rules? So let's go ahead and jump over to this. And I'm going to just roll through a couple of things here that we want to be taking a look at. There's our disclaimer. So consistency can be ruined by 3 limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs are different than false beliefs, in that limiting beliefs are things we tell ourselves about what we can't do or what's going to happen to us. And some of it, and a good thing to do is pay attention to what you say to yourself. In this particular case, I need to feel confident before I act. That may be something that would then cause a person just to freeze up and not be able to take a trade. If that is you, then the truth confidence comes after consistent action, not before it. So if you have a plan and how you and a strategy and a technique to trade that and make sure it's based on rules that will get you in and out of trades successfully. Because I use a checklist because it builds my confidence. It helps the people that I work with build their confidence, and there's just no other way around it. The second limiting belief is we may say to ourselves, I always screw it up eventually. How many of you have been there? You'll have several trades that really well. I know this happens to me. And it's one of those beliefs that actually will crop up its head after the fact and really kind of just stick it to me, even though I don't want it to stick it to me. But that'll happen. And if I catch myself saying these kind of things, oftentimes we'll say them out loud. The truth is, one bad trade doesn't define you, because in this game, if you've been in it long enough, you know you're going to have winning and losing trades. The thing to do is take your losses quickly and make sure they're controlled, and then be able to take your profits at measured positions, and on some of them, let the profits run. So every pilot hits turbulence. I used to be an old naval, I am an old naval aviator, and consistency is how quickly you correct, not how perfectly you fly. Limiting belief number 3 is I don't have enough time. Oh, I just am too busy. And the truth is you don't need more hours. You need more structure. And that's one of the things we do with autopilot trading. And again, this is not a pitch for autopilot trading. What it is just the truth. We trade typically we do the majority of our trading and put in our orders on Sunday or Saturday, and then we're done for the week. We let the system take care of the rest of it. So, how are we doing here? I'm bouncing over here to watch my time, guys. Hold on a second. Okay, we're doing well. So, hey, let's jump in. And I don't know if you guys know, but here's the essence on this is here's a quick checklist for rewiring your trading beliefs. 1, be aware. Catch the thought, write it down, or catch what you're saying, write it down, because our words become our world. That's a fact. Replace it, reframe what you're believing with the truth. Uh, to modify your trading identity, and then reinforce it. Repeat daily, especially when you lose. Repeat. Hey, I know my mentor used to have me saying, I am a wise, disciplined, and profitable trader. And he said, Dennis, say that for 90 days in front of the mirror, looking at yourself. And believe it or not, I did that. And he says, and if you want to laugh, just throw in, and a darn good looking one too. And I did that, and it was crazy because it worked. Because now, 30 years later, I am a successful trader. So you're not training your trades, you're training your brain. So this goes hand in hand with the aspect of false beliefs. These are limiting beliefs. False beliefs are what we tell ourselves about the market. Now, next Tuesday, I'll be covering the false beliefs that folks have that will wreck their consistency. And then finally, some of you may know, some of you may not know, I am doing a 90-day targeted challenge, live money, real money. I took a small account and I'm basically trying to grow it. We finished week number 5 up very nicely. I am still now, because I missed 1 week and I had a negative 7% back here on the second week. I'm not reaching up to hit my I have to get back on schedule. But my reason why I'm doing this challenge is very simple. I want to generate in this account $50,000. Does anybody want to venture a guess why I want to generate $50,000? So go ahead and leave it in the in the comments, if you will. But anyway, the reason I want to generate $50,000 is because I'm setting up a separate account for basically to generate monthly income. Now, while I've been building this account, my target is 7.5% per week. However, as soon as I get to 50,000 or 55,000 at the end of the year, my new upside target will be 10% per month. 10% per month equates to $5,000 per month in additional income. So it's like giving myself a raise. And part of the reason why we're doing it is my wife wants some stuff. She wants us to, take care of, re-landscaping the backyard and doing that kind of stuff. And so, why not use some of your funds this way? So I want to prove, one, that I'm be able to show the discipline. I'm not chasing the big wins. And when you think about it, what would change in your life if you could add some extra income every month? Would you travel more? Would you be less stressed? Maybe finally have more time for the people you love and who are around you. And I've got 6 grandkids, and I love to be around those grandkids. And this is what allows me to do that. And that's the heart of the challenge. That's why I'm doing this challenge. And so, hey, I'm wrapping up because I promised we'd stay close to 15 minutes. So before we wrap, I love your input. What would you like to see in future episodes of AutoPilot Trading Live? You want step-by-step routines? Drop your ideas in the comments or over on the community tab on the YouTube channel. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe, of course, to the YouTube channel and the notification so you'll know the next time we have a live session. And the next time the live session will happen is next Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time. So before I sign off, could you kind of tell me where you're calling in from or where you're watching from? Just and Erica, yeah, I'm trading both. I'm trading options on the challenge. Okay, hi, thanks, Joe. Yeah, we lived in Pleasanton for a while. Louisiana, all right. Kent, England, all right, Kent. Is there a connection there, my friend? And Erica, was the question having to do with the challenge? Kansas, all right. Hey, Steve. On the challenge, I am only trading leveraged ETFs on indexes, 4 sectors, and some select stocks that have weekly options. And yes, I will trade options on them. During my regular service that I provide, the AutoPilot Trading Service, we only trade straight leveraged ETFs and the top 5 stocks that come out every week. Because I have a firm belief that if a person isn't successful trading stocks and leveraged ETFs, they're not going to be successful trading options. Let's see, I'm trading out of a Roth, so I can't do options. Just wondering if your system works with straight stock trading. Yeah, that's what I do, Erica. And if you'd like to drop me a note, I would be glad to send you some information. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Luther, I don't trade the spiders or the Qs, and one of the reasons why is, and that's a great question. Let me shoot you my email there. Oops. Luther, the reason I don't is because we have found that trading the leveraged ETF. Hold on. on just a second. The leveraged ETFs, we trade them. There you go. There's my email. What we do is we trade them. We don't stay in them long-term for the whole year. We'll trade them 4 to 6 times throughout the year. We try to gain 15 to 25% each time we trade them. And when we do that, that gives us a compounding rate of between 70 and 100% per year. And so that's why we go for the leverage ETFs. Cool. Any other questions? Thank you so much for the questions. So there we go. So, hey, thanks a lot for joining in. And if this is the first time that you've seen AutoPilot Trading or me, hey, glad you joined in. And please share this with other traders who could use a helping hand to basically trade better. So, aloha. God bless everybody.